Good morning, everyone. My name is Neil MacRae. I'm the Executive Chairman of Mawson Finland. My colleague Nora Aola is in the front row here. She's the CEO of Mawson Finland. Oops. Just to give you a little bit of background on us, we just went public in August on the TSX Venture Exchange, so this is a brand new company. We had a very successful IPO. We started off at $1 a share, and we're now trading at $2.20 a share. So we're committed to creating a responsible Finnish mining company in the Lapland district of Finland. Just some forward-looking statements. Just to give you a little bit of background of how we originated, we were born out of Mawson Gold. So back in December of 2023, the company purchased the Rajapalot asset from Mawson Gold. We raised $15 million at that time in a special warrant raise. We paid Mawson Gold $6.5 million for the Rajapalot asset, which is approximately 1 million ounces of gold equivalent. And during that time, before we went public, we completed almost 12,000 meters of drilling on the Rajapalot asset, and we've started to put out drill results in the coming weeks. Our mandate now is just to create this new company, move it forward, increase the resources, and also look towards doubling our NPV. So with that being said, the management team is focused, like I say, increase the resources from 1 million to about 1.5 million ounces of gold, improve upon our already robust NPV numbers, looking to double that over the next coming couple of years, and increase the life of mine to 15 years. We have a very strong ESG program in place. That was put in place by Nora while she was under Mawson Gold, so we've focused on that because we believe social license is a key portion of what we're doing here at Mawson Finland as we advance. Just to give you an overview of where we currently sit on the Rajapalot asset, like I said, we have a PA completed. It has an inferred resource of 867 ounces of gold and 4,300 tons of cobalt. On an equivalent basis, that's about 1 million ounces. We did the NPV, the PEA we did, and the NPV at US dollars was $211 million. And that was done at $1,700 gold. So our future plan is to, like I say, increase the resource. We're going to do that over the next couple of winter drill campaigns, advance the project as much as we can with the current focus being to increase the NPV. Just to give you a sense of our share structure, like I mentioned, we did that special warrant raise in December of 2023. We raised just under $15 million. With that, we paid Mawson Gold $6.5 million for the asset. We also spent around $5 million to complete our drilling campaign, and post-IPO, we have about $5 million in the treasury. So, as I pointed out, Nora Aola, she's been on the project for about 10 years under Mawson Gold. She's the CEO of the company. She's focused on all matters in Finland, government relations, permitting, certainly in charge of the team there as they operate. I'm the executive chairman of the company. I've been in the capital markets in Canada for a number of years. I've worked for a variety of companies, First Majestic Silver, Farallon Mining, which was bought by Nearstar back in 2011, also Santa Cruz Silver Mining, so I've got a long experience with that. And our board is made up of Patrick Suarez. He's a former CEO of Foran Mining, and Bauke Vantarit, who's been involved with Mawson Gold for a number of years. So as part of our structure, we wanted to be aligned with shareholders, and so part of our compensation is our option plan, but our option plans are milestone-based, and those milestones include increasing that resource by 50%, doing an updated PEA over the next couple of years, and then advancing towards financing to go to a pre-feasibility study. So in order to gain our options, we have to complete those milestones. We also have a strong shareholder registry. Obviously, a lot of the Mawson Gold shareholders participated in Mawson Finland, so we're very happy with that. Got a number of shareholders from the Foran Mining group that are part of the lead shareholder group. And also we included a number of Finnish locals. There was a number of 70 investors that participated in the IPO financing, and they were brought in by Nora, and they're local to Rovaniemi. Finland, obviously many of you are very familiar with this, politically and socially stable. Projects in a Tier 1 location. You can see us there in just south of the Arctic Circle in the Lapland district of northern Finland. Just wanted to spend a little bit of time here just to give you a sense of where the resource is situated. You can see on the right-hand side, the Rajapalot project is in that right-hand box. It's about a 4 by 4 kilometer square block. The current resource of 1 million ounces is situated there. That's where we focused all of our winter drilling this past year, the 12,000 meters. We also have some blue sky potential in the Rompas trend back in 2012 under Mawson Gold. They had the best hole in Finland there, was 6 meters of 617 grams per ton of gold there. We actually just received our permitting to drill there, so that's something that we're going to be pondering to do in the near future. But this past year, the results that have started coming out and are coming out as well are all focused on Rajapalot and just focus on the low-hanging fruit in and around the Rajapalot project. I'll just advance here. So as I mentioned, we're doing step-out resource drilling. Palokas and South Palokas there, you can see that makes up the majority of the resource. That's about half of the resource that we currently have. So we put out results on both South Palokas and Palokas already. We actually got a new lens discovery. It's hole 335 on South Palokas. It was 21.75 meters of 5.25 grams per ton of gold. So very successful hit. It's a new lens for us in and around South Palokas. You can see here on this slide shows the the resource expansion ambitions, but you can see that new lens, which is just south of the current resource and the thickness of it there with the 21 meters. So we feel it's a strong potential to advance us forward on our resource ambitions. Just to give you a sense of how much drilling has been done on Rajapalot since the inception, we've done about with Mawson Gold and Mawson Finland now, there's been about 100,000 meters of drilling. So a lot of that focus has been on Palokas and South Palokas. You can see those small blue circles there. Those are where the drill results that we're awaiting. You can see in South Palokas there, not very well, but 335 is in the middle, and you can see how that extension towards the east is moving us towards the hut. And we're doing a lot of work in the back half of this year to, in between those open areas, in between South Palokas and the hut, to identify new targets, and we feel like there's a potential there to add another Palokas or South Palokas. And as I mentioned, those are the largest deposits on our property so far. These are all open at depth as well. We've gone down to about 400 meters, but you can see with Palokas and South Palokas, we've focused at depth there, and future drilling will be focused on that as well, just to see how far we go down there. This is just a long section. This is the Palokas one, where it is hole 346. We drilled 7 meters by 9 grams of gold, and then the cobalt as well. So we've, again, see a significant opportunity there to advance the Palokas resource as well. And again, open at depth. This slide just gives you a sense of how much we've done below 500 meters. We've probably done, of the 500 holes of the 100,000 meters, probably about 10 have gone below 500 meters. We actually had one of our best drill holes was below the 500 meter mark. It was 30 meters of 5 grams per ton of gold. So going forward, after we've identified and kind of got the low-hanging fruit in and around the current resources from 400 meters to just below surface, we'll focus on going down dip. This is the PEA that was part of our, it was effective December 2023, but it was part of the IPO. So this was done under Mawson Gold, and we mirrored that when we went public. So that NPV was $211 million, which is about 300 million Canadian. Our goal, as we increase the resources, to double that NPV to about 600 million Canadian. And what we want to do is get a 2-for-1 on the capex. You can see the capex is 191 million. So if we're 2-for-1 on that, it makes the project very financeable. The other thing I wanted to point out is that the NPV, again, it was done at $1,700 gold. So, if you do it on a spot basis today, you're going to see a substantial increase on that NPV. And with, what we've done in terms of the share structure on the company, there's 19 million shares out. There's no warrants. We have about 1.1 million stock options. But yeah, there's just, it's a pristine share structure. You rarely see that in these kind of companies, but we're very proud of that share structure, and we intend to keep it very tight and certainly as pristine as it has been out of the gate. This is just the resource slide. So this is where we're currently situated. You can see we're about 3 grams per ton of gold, about 440 ppm of cobalt to get us to that 1 million ounces of gold equivalent. ESG, again, as I mentioned, this is a strong focus for Nora and the team in Finland. We've put a lot of time and effort into that under Mawson Gold, and we'll continue to do that. We've got very good social acceptance. There's been a lot of discussions with locals. We had a town hall meeting in April that I attended where Nora was, we had about 100 visitors there just asking questions of Nora of, what the plans are and things like that. And certainly it was very well received, and a lot of time and effort is put into the ESG portion of our mandate. And then just why invest now? Certainly it's, we believe with our strong shareholders, our lead shareholders, we've created a really pristine company. We've got a lot of news flow, not a lot of catalysts. Like I mentioned, we've got certainly about another 21 drill holes still to come out. We've already put out about 15 of the 38 that we've done. So there's a lot of news flow coming very quickly. Pristine share structure, 19 million shares out, and we intend to keep it that way. And we still think it's very cheap, even at $44 million market cap. When you look at the value of this asset based on an NPV on spot gold price, it's fundamentally cheap. So yeah, this is what we're looking forward to, moving this ahead, and would invite everybody to participate as shareholders, and look forward to keeping the news flow up and lots of activity going forward. Oh, that's us. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Very interesting and fairly close to home.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the story, but it feels a little bit, let's say, if not odd, so eyebrow with Transatlantics investing in Finland, but there's a lot of gold in Finland as well. I just, you are on the exploration stage.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's the end game here? Will you produce or will you sell?
Well, ultimately, we're advancing towards, producing ourselves, right? Like I say, we want to increase resource, update the PA, and advance towards a pre-feasibility study. If somebody comes knocking on the door in that time frame, then you have to, look at that, right? But certainly, with the team we have with Nora and this is a Finnish company. This is what I say to people is that with the investors that we brought in locally, this is a Finnish company, so I think it's important to make sure that that's known. But yeah, we'll just keep doing what we're doing and make this project larger and more financeable.
And you had a slide of Finland as a mining jurisdiction, and obviously it's stable, as stable as it can be. How is it with the workforce? Is it easy to find, or is it a crowded place?
Well, I would say I think it's pretty easy, right, Nora? Like we're
Okay.
I'll let her.
We have a lot of expertise and a lot of workforce, and in our case, we are quite lucky because we are 30 kilometers from Rovaniemi, the capital of Lapland. So it's easier to attract workforce. Of course, we need some new. Okay, thank you. Now I don't need to yell. So yes, Rovaniemi city, which is the capital of Lapland in Finland, it's 30 kilometers away from the site. So I think that helps us attracting the workforce which we need in the future. And yeah, we have a lot of workforce there, and we have 3 operating mines. At the moment, we have 6 projects which are kind of in the development stage, which I hope will happen someday.
And as we all know, up in the north, 30 kilometers away is nothing.
No, it's like a neighbor.
So the end game is to produce, but you're open to, let's say, discussions. We don't find really, at this stage, you don't really feel that there is a squeeze on skilled labor. That would be.
No, I think we are doing well now. Yes.
And given the stage where you're in exploration, how important is the gold price? Because you mentioned it. Obviously, the NPV is at $700, and we're north of 2,000, whatever. But does it really matter? Because we're talking about a lead time that is fairly long, or how does it look in your?
I mean, it matters from the terms of financing the project going forward, right? So, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, when you're in production, it just depends on the timing and everything like that. But certainly, from our perspective, from our starting point, if we can finance this, on the upswing, then even better for the shareholders that have got in early, right? And that's sort of our mandate, is to make sure that everybody that's participating in both the IPO and the special warrant, and people that we bring on, make money, right?
So I'll make one reflection there. Given the exploration nature of it, inflation, cost inflation, or inflation as it were, the only where there could be wages and perhaps a drill or whatever. But on the other hand, gold price usually goes up when you have inflation. So you can have more or less the best of both worlds when it comes to financing. That is a reflection rather than a question, but would you agree?
I agree, and I think this is what you're seeing now is I think inflation has subsided a bit, and this is where you see the majors are making more money because the gold price is staying up or even increasing, while inflation is sort of falling off. Over the last couple of years, it's sort of been in tandem, right? But it's sort of reached a point now where they're making huge margins, right?
And then if we look at the situation here, and I'm coming back to the MPV and today's price, what do you think? I mean, there's just so much you can do. I mean, because you're in reality, although we're talking about the future and the stock market here. But what do you think needs to happen for the juniors to be re-evaluated? Because in my humble opinion, juniors hasn't really gone with the underlying gold price.
No, it hasn't at all. No. I have this discussion a lot with people, right? And you can see the majors have sort of responded to the gold price, but mid caps and lower, where I live in Canada, and juniors, it's I would have thought at $2,600 gold we'd be dancing in the streets at this point, but it's still difficult to raise money, right? It's not easy. You have to have good shareholders that support you, and you have to have a good story, right? And you have to be able to add value easily, right? And so speculative money is still not coming in per se, but I'd like to know when the trigger is, because I do think it's coming, because eventually it's just gonna really move quickly.
Excellent. So patience is a virtue, one could say, but it could also be like more or less a catch-up effect, because all the fundamentals are there, but the juniors hasn't gone, and that could be a technical discussion, which we might just have outside later on.
Well, you have to see. To me, it's like bringing in more of the generalists, people that aren't necessarily focused on gold, but then once they start coming in, then you'll see that pick up in terms of coming into the the lower range space of market caps.
All right, excellent. And just give us an idea of the next, let's say, timeline. When is it the quarterly, or is it anything that you would say? Let's say we're waiting for the test result, or what? So next quarter will be.
Well, that's the good thing about us, is that we have a lot of news flow coming. There's going to be a lot of catalysts, right? Because we've only put out like a quarter of the drill results from our drill campaign from last year, and that's being a month-old company, it's pretty unusual to have that as catalysts, right? So, and then also in January to April, we'll be starting our winter drill campaign again. So we'll do another 12,000 meters in 2025.
Right, thank you so much. Neil, Nora, it's been a pleasure, very interesting. So we wish you good luck, and we give them an extra round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.